Greetings, my loyal subjects. Boy oh boy, what a video have we got for you. And why do I say that? Because as of this moment, I had to interrupt the current video I was working on regarding a really stupid match with a bunch of people who attend a specific academy in space and a squadron that has a relation to a god named Minerva. There's also a Tanuki being present, but that's beside the point. The reason for this video existing is I wanted to go over the recent Gundam Banlist. And sweet freaking Easter, what a Banlist this was. But before we go into it, we need to discuss what led to this Banlist in particular being a thing, and how it could shape the future of the card game going forward. And that is... GDO 2 introduced a whole heap of new units, not just to support those currently in play from GDO 1, but also featuring new series into the fray, like G-Quox, Gundam X, Gundam Age, and one of my personal favourites, Iron-Blooded Orphans. G-Quox and IBO got a starter deck each, and it was in set 2 of the Gundam Card Game where we got given a brand new colour to play with. Purple. Which, funnily enough, the Barbatus Gundam fell into. I picked up that deck fast because holy crap, Barbatus! This led into some shenanigans already being put in place, with several players figuring out that with additional LRs the Tekken crew would get, it would make sense to have purple be combined with blue, which has some solid options in its own right. Mikazuki August is the pilot for Barbatus, and he already has some solid stats for what he does. Additionally, his on-pair effect is honestly really damn good. But see, this particular effect would lead into why he got paired with blue a lot. See, in the blue side of things, there's some units that have the ability to ping units that are arrested once they hit the field. Those units are Gundam and Onksha respectively. On top of having access to a good draw command in the Show of Resolve, the blue also had a certain pair of cards that would always see frequent use in the deck. But it's also considered a needed staple for any given blue/whichever colour pair you're working with. That being John Gundam himself, the RX-78-2, or Grandpa Gundam as it's lovingly called, and Bright Noah's personal slapping bag, Amuro Ray. Amuro and Mikazuki were already considered the dream team for this deck, as they both have when-paired effects, which are already incredibly strong when put together. You'll just never find a Blurple list without these two being together. Maybe they're lovers. Huh. Those two weren't the only problem. See, the other thing about Viagra Menace was the fact that a lot of players, especially from GDO 3 onwards, figured out that you could run a deck of units which have the following phrase: Level 2, 1 cost, 2/2 units with no effects. These little buggers are usually assigned to grunt units like Gray's Custom, GM, Zaku 2, just to name a few. And these guys were very abundant. Blurple took advantage of the fact that you could run essentially 8 of these guys in any one deck, which means bum rushing the enemy's shields was pretty much the go-to strat. It's dead easy to get overwhelmed by an army of minions, only to then get, well, a freaking Broly-style lariat by either Mikazuki or Amuro to win the game, which usually ends the match by turn 5 most of the time. Another deck that utilised this trick was lovingly called 1 Year Rush, which primarily used both Amuro and his rival/totally not lover, Char Aznavour. This also made use of running 8 of 2 1/2/2 units, with GM and Zaku 2 being the go-to units for the job. This would get further support in GDO 4 with the likes of the Xeon and a really solid base to go with it. But between both Blurple and 1 Year Rush, Blurple was by far the most popular of the two. Not just for the fact that it had a higher success in matchups, but it was by far the most favourable of the two decks. So much so, my good pal won a regional with Blurple. Mad shout out to Man in Blue, by the way. You're a freaking legend, dude. But what made Blurple this good? Simple. Pings, rests, and blunt force trauma. Cards like Guntank, Onksha, and sometimes Gundam NT1, aka Alex, would often find themselves in Blurple decks just for their ability to ping rested enemy units. And the purple side didn't help either. Mika already had a solid when paired effect, which is just ping one of your units and then an enemy unit, which can deal with pesky blockers or knock out a unit that already took a lot of damage the turn prior. However, Mika didn't come alone with that ability, as Barbatus Adept also has visibility as a deploy effect, and even Guts. Akihiro's Gushon Remake has this effect too, with an additional blocker, so imagine the amount of pings you'd get from all that. It's no wonder Blurple did as well as it did. And so, it led to this. The recent ban list. And what did they hit? Well, let's go over that, shall we? For the bans, we have Anksha, a blue level 4, 2-cost, 3/3 unit that on deploy targets an enemy rested unit and deals 1 point of damage to it. This saw egregious use in Blurple, as not only was it a good ping unit, but it also could be set up with Amuros on pair effect if the pieces are in place. On top of that, it's also just a solid body with solid stats to get through any attacks no problem. We also got pair bans, and boy this one was interesting. The Blurple Dream Team has now been broken apart, as Mikazuki and Amuro have now been pair banned for their excessive use in multiple decks. So it would stand to reason why these two would now separate, which, honestly, I'm all for. Upside is, Char gets to have all the fun with Amuro now, all by himself, and no one else. On top of that, there was some future-proofing, as Gun Tank and M1 Astray Strike from GDO5 have also been pair banned. Why is that? Well, it turns out the M1 Astray Strike is just a remake of the Gun Tank. Same ability, same stats, same cost, same level. You know how it is. The banning of Anksha and the pair bans are reasonably good, but the real big hit was right here. So, you remember those 2-1-2-2s I mentioned earlier? Well, you better pick a favourite now, because you can only run a playset of one specific unit that matches that description. This also means you cannot mix and match units that match the description either. So, no 2 of Zaku 2s and 2 of GMs, you pick one and you run that one. That's it, you just run that one.
That one? What one? That one? Aye, that one.
This is astronomically huge, as it had wounded aggro decks, especially the rush-heavy style ones. Yes, this even hurts the decks that just made use of slapping a bunch of these guys together and just calling it a deck. They're done. They're gone. Those days are now behind us. They even introduced some new units sharing that stat line on top of that too. One of which I'm very excited for, as it's my favourite Earth Federation grunt suit, the Jagan. All in all, this is a great ban list, and I'm happy to see this. Does this hurt some of my decks? Well, mostly. The Anksha ban does hurt me slightly, as I was trying to make a red-blue ping deck, but probably better off this way. And with the neutering of the 2-1-2-2s, this will open up a lot of new things for the game, and I'm honestly looking forward to this being in effect. And while it does hurt a few of my aggro decks, it doesn't quite harm the main ones I use a lot, which would be my red-green Celestial Being deck, as I only really used, well, 3 copies of the 2-1-2-2 Zaku 2s. Cool! This ban list will be going into effect on the 24th of July, which is also the same day GDO5 releases. Awesome! But there's a problem. The Rotherham Regionals will not be using this ban list, so good luck, and have fun. Well, with all that being said and done, this has been Warlord. Thank you all for your time and watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Remember, stay classy and stay mad!